What if I told you that everything you are so desperately chasing in life, the peace, the success, the love, is already on its way to you, but that you, yourself, might be the one unknowingly blocking its arrival? In a world that is completely obsessed with hustle, with control, and with a relentless sense of urgency, we have forgotten a quiet, ancient truth. The universe doesn't respond to our struggle. It responds to our surrender. What if the key to getting everything you truly deserve was not in doing more, but in courageously, wisely learning to do less? Today, we are going to challenge the very way you think about effort, about timing, and about control. We will journey into the heart of Buddhist wisdom to discover the unseen reason why your life might feel so heavy, and what happens, almost magically, when you finally, truly learn to let go. This isn't just another talk. It's an invitation to find your flow. If you are going to get anything out of our time together today, please let it be this: you do not have to chase what is already vibrationally yours. That is all you truly need to know in life, and I invite you to stay with me until the very end, because there's a powerful bonus lesson waiting for you that you won't want to miss. Lesson 1. Fear is a seed. Plant it, and it grows. In the profound worldview of Buddhist thought, the energy you consistently carry within you inevitably becomes the world you see outside of you. Fear isn't just a fleeting emotion, it is a powerful, creative lens, and the more you choose to look at the world through that lens, the more distorted, the more frightening your reality becomes. The great irony is this: when you fear something deeply, you begin to live as though it's already true. You unconsciously, yet powerfully, breathe life into it with your focused attention. Imagine this: you're afraid of losing your job. That persistent fear begins to seep into your actions. You might start to hesitate in meetings, to second-guess your decisions, to shrink your presence. That very anxiety, that low-grade harm of dread, clouds your judgment. You may even, without meaning to, start to withdraw from your colleagues and your responsibilities, and in doing so, you subtly, yet surely, begin to drift toward the very outcome you so desperately feared. The same is true in our relationships. A deep fear of abandonment can so easily make us cling too tightly, or become consumed with doubt, and that very tension, that heavy, anxious energy, can often be the very thing that pushes others away. It's not some cruel fate working against you. It is your own fear, working powerfully from within you. The wisdom of Buddhism teaches that the mind is like a fertile plot of soil. The soil doesn't judge the seeds you plant, whether you choose to sow the seeds of fear and anxiety, or the seeds of calm and trust. The mind, in its impartial power, will help him to grow. But you, my friend, are the gardener. You always have the power to choose what takes root in your inner world. This doesn't mean you have to pretend that everything in your life is perfect. It simply means learning to consciously, lovingly shift your attention away from the weeds of fear and, instead, watering the beautiful flowers of presence. When a fearful thought arises, I invite you to try this. Pause, take a deep, conscious breath, and gently, curiously ask yourself, Is this thought helping me to build a sense of peace right now? Or is it just feeding a sense of panic? You are not powerless. You are the divine creator of your own inner landscape, and when your inner world begins to change, your outer world, that great mirror, has no choice but to begin to reflect it. Lesson 2. True strength is found in surrender. In our modern, fast-paced world, we're so often told that strength means control. Control your time, control your success, control the outcome. We're told to push harder, to plan more, to hold on tighter. But the timeless wisdom of the Buddhist path offers something radically different. Something far more freeing. It tells us that real, enduring strength isn't about gripping tighter. It's about courageously, wisely letting go, not giving up, but gracefully giving over the exhausting and ultimately futile illusion that we can, or should, shape every single moment, every single person, every single outcome with our own limited will. Surrender, in the Buddhist sense, is not a sign of weakness. It is a sacred, powerful release. It is the profound art of doing what you can, with your full presence and attention, and then, with a deep and abiding trust, stepping back and allowing karma and life's own natural, intelligent flow to unfold. Picture yourself trying to hold water in your palm. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. But if your hand is open, relaxed, and receptive, the water stays. That is surrender, not passive, not careless, just open. It's a quiet, inner confidence that gently says, I've done my part, now I trust life to meet me halfway. When we stop constantly, anxiously interfering with the flow of life, something truly beautiful begins to happen. Our precious energy, once wasted on worry and control, returns to us. Our minds become clearer. We start to notice beautiful opportunities that we were once too anxious and too distracted to see. Help begins to arrive from the most unexpected of places, and life begins to feel like it is working with us, not against us. Buddhism teaches that surrender is not an end. It is a glorious new beginning. It's the start of true, profound freedom, and in that freedom, you don't lose your power. You finally, truly discover it. Lesson 3. Anxiety belongs to tomorrow. Peace belongs to now. The wisdom of the Buddhist path reminds us of a simple, yet utterly life-altering truth. Anxiety cannot exist in the present moment. It is a ghost that lives exclusively in the mind's projections of the future. It lives in the endless, exhausting loop of what might happen, what could go wrong, what I fear is coming, but none of that is real. It's all just a movie, a fiction, playing out in a future that does not yet exist. When you feel that familiar, tightening grip of anxiety, I invite you to gently notice where your mind is. It's almost certainly racing ahead, isn't it? It's building elaborate stories. It's spinning terrifying scenarios. It's dragging you into a world that doesn't yet exist. A world of what-ifs and maybes. And while you are there, lost in that imaginary future, you are completely missing the only place where life, in all its richness and beauty, truly exists, right here. This present moment, this single, precious breath, is your true home, And in this sacred space, you are okay, you are breathing, you are grounded, you are enough. Buddhism calls this simple, powerful practice mindfulness, the gentle, loving act of returning again and again to the now. And every single time you consciously choose to return, you weaken anxiety's powerful, hypnotic grip on you, because in the pure, simple reality of the present moment, there is nothing chasing you. There is no scary future to fear. There is only this one, still, quiet second, where life is gracefully, perfectly unfolding, one single breath at a time. The anxious mind may roar like a lion, but the present moment always whispers. And the more you learn to listen to that quiet whisper, the more you will come to realize that the peace you have been so desperately searching for out there is, and has always been, right here, within you, patiently buried just beneath all the noise. Lesson 4. The heavy burden of imagined fears. So much of what weighs on our minds, so much of what steals our joy, never even actually happens. Buddhist wisdom offers a quiet, yet powerful reminder. Our greatest source of anxiety often isn't our present reality. It's our own powerful, and often unchecked, imagination. We worry, we stress, and we lose countless hours of precious sleep over elaborate, terrifying scenarios that never, ever unfold in the way we imagined them. We carry our fears around with us like a backpack full of invisible stones, dragging them through each and every day, even though most of them are just phantoms. Why do we do this to ourselves? Because the human mind is like a brilliant, but often mischievous, novelist that never stops writing. It tirelessly scripts endless what-ifs, painting vivid, cinematic pictures of problems that don't exist yet, and maybe never will. It warns us of imaginary disasters, of potential heartbreaks, the spectacular failures that live only in the realm of our thoughts, not in the tangible reality of the present moment. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you braced yourself for a difficult conversation that, in the end, turned out to be perfectly fine, or feared the absolute worst about a situation that, in its own time, resolved itself peacefully? The storm we imagine is very rarely the storm that actually arrives. And more often than not, it doesn't come at all. This is the subtle, yet powerful, trap of worry. It completely distorts our sense of scale. It brings distant, unlikely fears so close that we begin to react to these illusions as if they are undeniable truths. But as the teachings of Buddhism so beautifully remind us, just because a thought appears in your mind doesn't mean it deserves your belief. Your mind can, and will, create endless stories, but you do not have to live inside all of them. So, the next time you catch yourself spiraling into a vortex of anxiety, I invite you to gently pause and to ask yourself, with a sense of loving curiosity, is this actually happening right now, or is this just a thought? Often, in that moment of clarity, you'll realize you've been fighting shadows, not substance, and your freedom begins the moment you consciously choose to return to this moment, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Let the imagined fears dissolve in the gentle light of your own presence. What's real is often far, far gentler than what we fear. And when you stop living in the mind's terrifying predictions, your life starts to feel lighter, clearer, and so much more peaceful. We have now explored the foundational principles of releasing fear and surrendering to the flow of life. But what happens when our very need for control clashes with the deep, necessary act of faith, and how does this internal battle affect our ability to grow? That, my friends, is the profound journey we will embark upon right after this. So, we have come to understand that our true power lies not in forcing life's hand, but in learning to trust its intelligent, benevolent flow. We've learned to observe our minds like a still lake and to align our energy like a compass finding true north. But how do we maintain this beautiful, serene state when the pressures of the world feel overwhelming? This is where the deeper, more subtle practices of Zen and Buddhist wisdom truly come to life. Beginning with a profound lesson from one of nature's greatest teachers. 5. Be empty, like the bamboo, to be filled by the wind. Sometimes, my friends, the very reason you feel so stuck, so heavy, so perpetually burdened, isn't because life is actively holding you back. It's because you are holding on too tightly. You're holding on to specific outcomes, to outdated identities, to heavy, self-imposed expectations that were never truly yours to begin with. Imagine a closed, clenched fist trying desperately to grasp the wind. The more you clench, the more the very thing you seek, peace, flow, freedom, slips away, leaving you with nothing but the ache of your own effort. But now, I want you to picture the tall, elegant bamboo. It is incredibly strong, capable of withstanding the fiercest of storms. Yet it is also completely hollow on the inside. It bends gracefully, almost like it's dancing in the harsh winds, but it never, ever breaks. It is empty, but it is not weak. It is open, but it is not needy. And precisely because of that beautiful, spacious openness, it is able to flow with the wind instead of rigidly, foolishly resisting it. The timeless wisdom of Buddhism teaches us that real, enduring strength is not measured by how much you can carry, but by how much you are gracefully, courageously willing to release. In the end, only 3 things truly matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you were able to let go of the things that were not meant for you. But most of us don't live that way, do we? We chase more, we grip harder, we tell ourselves that we cannot possibly rest until everything in our lives finally falls perfectly into place. But that constant pressure, that anxious attachment, is the very thing that creates the suffering we are so desperately trying to avoid. So, ask yourself now, with radical honesty, what beliefs or desires am I gripping onto too tightly in my life? Is it the deep, burning need to prove my worth to others? Is it the rigid, inflexible idea that my success must look a certain way? Is it the deep, primal fear that if I stop pushing for even a single moment, everything will fall apart? These thoughts aren't just harmless, passing mental noise. They are weight, and carrying them keeps you from being able to receive what is truly, divinely meant for you. There's a wonderful Zen story of a student who came to a wise monk, desperate for clarity, The student spoke endlessly, his words tumbling out in a torrent, about his problems, his plans, his pain. Finally, the monk began to pour a cup of tea for him. He poured, and he poured, until the tea spilled over the edge of the cup and onto the table. The student, alarmed, shouted, "Stop, it's overflowing, no more can go in." The monk looked at him with a gentle, knowing smile and replied, "Exactly, you are like this cup, so full of your own opinions, your own fears, your own expectations, that there is no room for anything new to enter. Empty your cup. This is the sacred path of detachment. It's not about rejecting life, but about courageously clearing out the inner noise that prevents you from fully, joyfully living it. It means consciously choosing a state of inner stillness over a state of mental obsession. It means allowing for a sacred, empty space instead of frantically filling every single silence with more worry. It is the profound understanding that needing nothing opens the beautiful doorway to receiving everything. When you become empty, like the hollow bamboo, the spirit of the universe can finally, freely move through you. 6. Let your stillness be your thunder. We live in a world that is deeply, fundamentally afraid of silence. Every single moment, it seems, is filled with alerts, with noise, with the compulsive, anxious urge to speak, to scroll, to react. But what if the very answers you so desperately seek are not hiding in more motion, but are, in fact, patiently waiting for you in the profound, resonant power of stillness? Stillness is not emptiness. It is certainly not weakness. It is the silent, gathering thunder beneath the surface, the very force that quietly, over eons, shapes mountains. A Zen master once said, "Silence is an empty space. Space is the home of the awakened mind, and it is in that sacred, spacious home that your real power truly begins." Burnout, my friends, doesn't just come from doing too much. It often comes from being too disconnected. Disconnected from your breath, disconnected from your purpose, disconnected from your own inner truth. You move fast, you rush, you hustle, desperately hoping that speed will somehow lead you to clarity. But it never does. Clarity doesn't come from frantic motion. It comes only when the dust of your mind is allowed to settle. And it can only ever settle in a state of stillness. Think about it. A muddy, turbulent river doesn't become clear when you stir it more vigorously. It becomes clear only when it is allowed to be still. The very same is true for your mind. You might say you feel lost, uncertain, or overwhelmed, but I invite you to ask yourself this, with radical honesty: what am I truly avoiding by filling every single moment of silence with more noise? Often, the answer is a fear of hearing what's real, because in the profound quiet of true stillness, you finally, truly meet yourself, and that is where all real transformation begins. This isn't about you having to go and sit in a cave for years. It's about consciously, lovingly weaving intentional moments of stillness into the fabric of your day. 5 conscious, deep breaths before you respond to a difficult email, a silent walk in the park without your phone, a single morning where you don't immediately rush to check your notifications. These small, Sacred practices of stillness don't make you less productive. They make you infinitely more aligned. And from that deep, powerful alignment, your energy becomes focused, your decisions become clearer, and your very presence becomes magnetic. Stillness is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of awareness. It's the moment you stop chasing, you stop performing, and you finally, truly listen. And what you hear in that quiet may not be the booming voice from the heavens, but a simple, quiet knowing, the kind of deep, inner certainty that no amount of external validation can ever offer you. Your power doesn't lie in how loud you are, but in how centered and calm you can remain when the entire world around you is loud. 7. Heal the inner mirror to reflect a brighter world. When you look into a mirror that is covered in a thick layer of dust and grime, what do you see? You see a distorted, unclear reflection. You see shadows where there should be light. That is a perfect metaphor for what happens when we carry our unhealed wounds within us. Your external world, your entire life experience, begins to reflect your inner pain instead of your magnificent, true potential. The universe is not separate from you. It is a perfect, responsive mirror to the vibration of your inner world. A great Buddhist master once said, "You cannot travel the path until you have become the path itself." This is the profound wisdom that Buddhism offers us, not to endlessly chase peace externally, but to courageously, lovingly become the very peace we seek. So many of us try to control everything on the outside, our relationships, our careers, even the timing of our lives, without ever pausing to address the limiting, often subconscious, beliefs we hold on the inside. We say we want abundance, but we secretly, deep down, believe we're not worthy of it. We long for a sense of calm, but we constantly feed our minds with a diet of chaos and fear. We demand love from others, but we refuse to truly, deeply give it to ourselves. The profound truth is, you can never sustainably receive from the universe what you do not believe you deserve. That's why healing your inner mirror is not a luxury on the spiritual path. It is the absolute, non-negotiable starting point of all true and lasting transformation. There was once a woman who spent years of her life trying to fix everything around her, her job, her partner, her finances, but nothing ever seemed to stick. One day, completely exhausted, she sat down in meditation and asked the universe, with all the sincerity of her heart, "Why isn't anything working?" And a quiet, gentle voice from within her own being whispered back, "Because, my dear, you still think you're broken." That single moment of insight cracked her wide open. She finally realized it was not the world around her that needed changing. It was her fundamental relationship with herself. And her healing didn't begin with more frantic effort. It began with a single, profound act of self-acceptance. So, ask yourself, with that same radical honesty, what do I truly, deep down, believe I deserve? And is that belief helping me, or is it hurting me? If your inner dialogue is constantly rooted in a sense of lack, of guilt, of fear, then no outer achievement will ever be enough. You'll always be chasing and never truly arriving. But when you begin to gently, Consistently affirm to yourself, I am already whole, I am already enough, I trust life's beautiful flow. You begin to fundamentally shift the very frequency of your life. You become magnetic, because now the universe finally sees reflected in you what you have finally, courageously chosen to see in yourself. Profound, undeniable wholeness, this understanding of the need for inner alignment, for a clear inner mirror, is the very foundation of a peaceful life. But even with this knowledge, we can still find ourselves caught in the subtle, yet powerful, trap of overthinking, of carrying a mental weight that was never ours to bear. And it is this very art of thinking lightly that holds the next key to our freedom. And that is the journey we will embark upon right after this, the journey to a calmer, clearer, and more powerful life isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about courageously, lovingly letting go of the desperate need for control, letting go of the attachment to your own chaotic thoughts, letting go of the resistance to what is. When you master these simple yet profound arts, when you learn to be empty like the bamboo, still like the deep lake, and clear like a polished mirror, your life begins to flow with a grace and an ease you may have never thought possible. You don't gain control by holding on tighter. You gain it by releasing the very illusions that have weighed you down. Life isn't something to be forced, chased, or fixed. It's something to be lived with presence, with courage, and with a deep, abiding trust. The moment you stop clinging is the very moment that real, authentic living finally begins. True strength doesn't come from force, but from surrender. Not the surrender of weakness, but the surrender of the ego, the fear, and of the need to control. And when you release what you can't control, you begin to powerfully, beautifully shape your inner world with clarity and calm, and slowly but surely the outer world begins to respond. If this journey into the heart of Buddhist and Zen wisdom has resonated with you, if you feel a stirring in your soul, a deep desire to cultivate this unshakable peace within yourself, then we passionately, sincerely invite you. Do not let this moment of clarity fade. Subscribe now and become an essential, cherished member of our incredible community. A vibrant sanctuary where we courageously explore these transformative truths and support one another on the magnificent journey of becoming the calm in the midst of the storm. By subscribing, you are not just getting more content, you are making a powerful, conscious declaration to yourself and to the universe. I am choosing peace. I am cultivating clarity. Click that subscribe button with the full, heartfelt intention of your aspiring soul, and be absolutely certain to ring that powerful notification bell, because you won't want to miss a single one of our upcoming explorations into the simple yet profound practices that can set you free. And now, we would be so deeply honored to hear from you. Your journey, your voice, and your insights are what make this beautiful community so incredibly special. Please, anchor your own practice by leaving a comment below. Simply, yet powerfully, write, I choose to flow. Let's create a magnificent wave of peaceful, scented energy together. Your declaration inspires us all. Until we meet again, may you learn to let go like the open sky, May you observe your faults like a calm lake, and may you always, always remember the profound, unshakable peace that resides just beneath the surface of the beautiful, flowing river of your life. Thank you, with our deepest gratitude, for being here and for watching.